Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Office Hours. Hey, John. Yeah, sure. Feel free to join the link I just put in the chat. Hello, hello. It's been a while. How's it going?
Okay, sorry.
No worries. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. How about yourself?
Yeah, all good, all good. Same
Good to
old.
hear. Yeah, it's supposed to snow here in New York, so excited for that.
Nice.
Uh,
Do you guys usually have like a white Christmas? I've never been to New York. It's on my bucket list. I don't know what the weather's usually like around Christmas.
admittedly, I've only lived here for 2 years, so I can't really speak with certainty. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like definitely gets a little bit of snow before and after. I don't know about actually on Christmas.
Nice.
But
Okay.
I moved here I lived on the West Coast for about a decade between LA and Seattle. So it's definitely a significant change.
Yeah, a bit of a shock, I imagine.
Yeah.
With Seattle.
But I love it. I love it.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, let me share a screen. I'll dive in. I haven't really been noodling in WeWeb for a while, so I came back to this, and I feel like something changed with the icons.
Okay.
Let me just go and allow entire screen. Okay, there we are. Okay, so got this experience. Currently my demo user. I've created my own custom multi-select filter, and it seems that when I click on exactly the icons, the events don't actually properly fire. So you can see here, I've got the hover state. I've got if we actually, these are all actually in a custom design system external. But nonetheless, if I click here, you see it selects. I'll unselect it. Now, if I click directly over the icon, it closes. Same thing happens for in here. So this is a icon toggle. So if I click that, everything selects. But if I click directly on it, it ignores it. So I'm just curious if is that a bug? Am I doing something wrong?
It's a weird one. I've never heard of it. It might be a bit tricky to go through because the component is in a different library, so we can't actually. Or do you have that library somewhere?
Yeah.
Because basically, I'm wondering if you have the same issue in the root library.
Let's try. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you let's edit the component and see what's going on with the icon.
So you can see I've got that row selected, and then I've got the icon. I've got a workflow on the row.
Yeah. If you so what's So is there a reason that I think you have duplicate workflows set up at a glance?
Yeah, I have a feeling that I tried to resolve this by applying that after the fact.
Okay.
No, I mean, funny enough.
Because I was going to say maybe as a test, if that is the case, if we could just add like a pass-through condition false at the start of that one on the icon to disable it and see if that does anything. And you added that pass-through condition on that toggle?
Yeah, or maybe not the toggle specifically. I might have done it on the container, the icon container. No, sorry, select. Yeah, so I've got it's on the icon container.
And what's the workflow on the parent? So if back in the layout tree, what's the workflow on this?
Level?
Yeah.
This one, I think it's identical one. So.
Okay, let's try something then. If you go back to that workflow you had on the icon itself. And was this the one that we added the pass-through condition on?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually do a quick duplicate so we can look at both.
Cool. And then if you, just before the pass-through condition, if you add a new action just above it, and then there's an event at the bottom called stop click propagation.
Yep.
I'm wondering if this might resolve it. So if you put it into preview and try this, I'm wondering if, although this wouldn't actually trigger any functionality, but I just want to check to see first if it stops the closing issue.
Yeah. So I'm going to test. Okay.
Okay, so that stops the closing issue. Huh. Okay. That is an odd one. I've never heard of this issue.
I mean, for what it's worth, I'm happy. I feel like when I tried to resolve this, I copied the workflows for both the parent containers into the icons themselves, or the icon containers. So that's why they might be there. Seeing that, I feel like I should just go and delete those, because obviously want the entire section to be to trigger the respective workflows and not just the icons. It does make me wonder if we should add this. Well, as I say, add the stop click propagation before.
The one thing I'm thinking as well is, how does the closing of your drop down / popover work? Do you have a workflow for it in some way, or are you just using the kind of built-in functionality of the drop down element?
I do think I'm adding. Sorry, not adding. I think it's the native functionality here.
Yeah. So if you put it into edit mode, I'm wondering if potentially there's some kind of prop configured in some way for this, for the closing. So it's triggers on click, position bottom. And then if you go to the settings tab, just the one to the right. Oh, no, there isn't one. Okay. No. Okay. I could just go back to the pencil one for a second, sorry, just to make sure there was no, because triggers click. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's an odd one. I don't know if maybe the icon element it specifically has some kind of interaction when you put it inside of a dropdown, but I've never seen this before. Okay. Would you mind putting a link to your project in the private chat, and I'll take a quick look after this, because this is one of those ones. It would just be easier for me to have a look myself if you're okay with that.
Yeah, totally. And the project being this design system, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Cool. All right then. I guess I'll go ahead and stop sharing here.
Cool. Okay. Was there anything else?
No, that was it. Just been trying to triage this one, and I was waiting for office hours. So.
Cool. Super. Yeah. There's someone after this, but then if there's no questions in the meantime in the hour, I'll take a look before the end.
All right. Cool. I appreciate it.
All right. Cheers. And Basakran is in the lobby.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Basakran. How's it going?
All good, all good. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Okay.
Can I help?
Yes. Let me share my screen.
Cool. I've got you.
Okay. See, we're trying to build this. It's kind of a dashboard, but there are different ways of having different tabs in dashboard, right? So if I have like multiple tabs, maybe let me go to that on the client side. See, we for the dashboard we didn't have like different pages. We just have one page, and I was trying to pass everything in a parameter. Like if I want to go to surveys, I'm passing this in the parameters, in the URL parameters, to go to that particular survey, to make the page to load much faster. For me, this looks good in terms of preview, but it's really hard to work in the editor. I can't. Typically I can't. If I have to go to this, I want to see this preview tab, I can't do it, because then I have to change it here in the URL to go to that particular surveys.
Sure.
Is there any better way to do it?
Yeah. So the way this usually is set up is you would have a single page. I think right now, do you have? So where is this surveys page? Is it in a different? I can see. Yeah, you've got it conditionally rendered to off. Okay. And so
yeah.
If you were to click the surveys button, does it add a query parameter or a path parameter? Do you know what I mean? Query tab. Okay, right.
It's query. Yeah.
So the way you could still do this. There's two ways to do it. Usually the more conventional way to do it is with a path parameter. So instead of, let's say like the base URL was client dashboard, instead of using a query parameter, so it'd be client dashboard ?surveys or ?dashboard. Usually you use a path parameter, so it's like an actual slash. So it's client dashboard /surveys or client dashboard /dashboard. You can do it either way. It's just more conventional. But to still make it work with how you have it set up with tabs is, do you know what a query variable is? Do you know what I mean when I say that? No worries if not.
Can you explain that?
Sure, yeah. So if you go to the data tab on the left, yep. If you create a variable, one of the types you can select is called query. You see at the bottom? Yeah. And so you could call it, I think right now you're using a query called tab. Is that right?
Yes.
So yeah, so you could create this and you could call it tab at the top. So you could put the name to tab. Yep. And now whenever you click surveys, for example, we can set it up actually. So if you close this now, so you've created that variable. Yep. And if you click onto the surveys button in the left nav that you have, you see the one you're using to navigate. Yep. If you click onto that, and how do you have the link set up for this? Is it in a workflow or is it in the settings? Okay,
it's in the workflow on click. Yeah.
So you could now you could add an action into this workflow and add the change variable value action. Yep.
This change variable value, yes.
And for the variable, you can choose the tab variable that you created, and you could set this to be surveys. So basically what you're doing now, but at the same value. And if you just test this action, so we have it set to that. So if in that change variable value action, yep, if you test it, just so we can have that set in the editor so we can use it. And so now if you close the workflow editor, and if you go back to the layout tree on the left, and if you click onto that survey section at the bottom, if you go into the binding that you had set up to control the display of this, if you now instead of using the browser.query.tab, you can delete that and you can instead use the variable value. So in this first tab, yeah, you'll find the tab one. Yep. And then you can click this and then do the same thing you had. So you could say equals surveys. And so now you would need to set it up on the other tabs. So like on the dashboard item in your side nav, in the workflow, you would need to change the variable value to be whatever you want it to be. Exactly. So you would need to update the bindings for the displays, but then also like when you click the dashboard item in the side nav, you would need to change the variable value to be whatever you're using. So I guess in this case, you would just need to reset it.
Okay, understood. So in this way, I don't have to change it. Okay, it's automatically changed it. I can see that tab equal to service.
Exactly, yeah. And then whenever you publish this, it would be the same thing. So it's just a nice way to work with query parameters inside of WeWeb.
Okay, perfect. I think that's where see, typically we use Bubble a lot, for web apps, and in that, for sure we couldn't have this way of I want to have a single page application. I can have multiple. If I have multiple pages, for a particular dashboard, then it doesn't load. It takes a lot of time to load it. And I want to do the same thing with WeWeb as well. But then we did it, but we found the issues with working with editor because we have to change it in the parameter to even to work on it. But now I think this is a quick, really a good hack.
Can I show you one more thing?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Do you know what conditional rendering is?
Yes.
So I would, it depends on your use case, but at a glance, I would recommend instead of binding the display of the sections, bind the conditional rendering of the sections. Because that means right now, because you're using the display, whenever you load that dashboard page, it also has to load all of the other pages.
Yeah.
And so there could be, if there's a lot on those pages, there could be a very long load time for that initial page. And it can affect performance. It depends on your use case, but just as a heads up, it might be better to use conditional rendering.
No, totally understood. See, it was developed by someone else, and we were stuck, and then now I have to jump in to see if there is a way to do it, the better way to do it. But now I think we got it. So
Cool.
Thank you. But where are you based? In France?
No, I'm not in France. A lot of the guys are in France, but we're remote. So I'm in Spain, and then there's people scattered everywhere, but most people are in Paris. Or around France, actually. Not in Paris, but around France.
Yeah. I think, I was in the No Code Summit last year. I met Rafael and, the whole team. It was good. The product is really good. So we just have to, because we are using Superbase a lot and we use WeWeb Superbase. I think it's a great combination.
And how long, you say you exclusively use WeWeb now, or you use it alongside Bubble for some things?
Yes. See, we typically use whenever there is a specific requirement. But I think that's where, right now we have this customer who wants to build everything in code and they want to export this into code whenever they want to in the future. So for this, of course, WeWeb has a great use case. And but we try to build more web applications using WeWeb. But I think it's more. We plan to do more, but we're just getting started. But we are into this tool for a long time. Yeah.
Nice. I was just curious.
No, it's good. I think for now it's good. If we have something, I'll come back to the next week.
Yes, no worries. It might be quiet tonight, so you're more than welcome to hop back in. Just put a question in the chat. Or give me a note in the chat and I can bring you back in.
Yeah, I think I have one more question. Let me quickly share, but maybe... Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Maybe you might understand. See, I'm trying to see this form container, but inside form container, I'm not seeing anything. But this is inside the form container. I want to see the password, but I don't see the password at all. The text element.
Did you get AI to create this by any chance?
I'm not sure. One of my team members.
This is definitely a bug. I've never seen this before.
I was.
Okay, yeah. If you could, do you know how to submit a support ticket?
Yes.
Yeah, if you could put in a ticket for this, that'd be massively helpful because this is definitely a bug.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Likewise. Speak soon.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
Sorry, John, I just saw your message in the chat. A WeWeb summit. No, it's just he was talking about the no-code summit. So not this year, but for the 2 years prior, in October, there's been a no-code summit in Paris. There wasn't one this year. I'm not too sure why. I think it's been moved to early next year. But he was just talking about that. Unfortunately, there's no WeWeb summit just yet. Is there an easy way to use the upload file component and just have it show an icon and disable the upload list without forking it? Unfortunately not. It's a very opinionated component in the sense we built it in a way just so you could get started with it very easily, and it isn't as customizable in a no-code way as some of the other elements that we have, in the sense there's nothing in the layout tree that you can edit. So unfortunately, there isn't really. It's one of those components that you have to fork if you want to make some major edits that aren't available via the props. Although if you want to disable the upload list, let me just have a quick look on my side, because I just want to make sure there's not something that I'm missing in the actual available props of the element first. I think you give me just 1 second, because I'm testing with the file upload now, and I think in truth you might be able to just have an icon file upload if you mess around with the props a bit. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so it is possible. I'll try and walk you through everything that I just defined as the props. So if I just center this. So here's my file upload. And if I work my way down from the top, everything I did. So for the min height, you can set this to be whatever you want, because it controls the height. For a button, I don't know, maybe you want it to be like 30. So I'll just put it to 30. For the icon size, I'll reduce it a bit to something like that. And so that's what I changed. I changed the minimum height, the size. For all of the text, I deleted it. So there was a label by default, but I can just delete that. Same with the extensions message, sorry, I deleted that. Max file message, I deleted that. I think that's the only other, I think that's the last piece of text that comes by default. And then you can just change the padding, which was, whereabouts was the padding? So this was the file list. I forgot where I changed the padding now, but I changed the padding somewhere, and I think that was pretty much it. And you wanted to hide the file list. So let's see. If I upload a file, there's the file list, and can we hide that natively? Okay, yeah, I think we're a bit blocked here. I don't know if you can disable the file list. Okay. Is this maybe? No. Okay, well, that kind of works. So if I turn the show file details to off, I get rid of the shadow. Okay, so maybe you can actually do this in a hacky way. But there's still some kind of shadow. No, yeah. Yeah, so I think your best bet would be to use the file upload element. We do have another file upload element that's old and it's deprecated though. This one. There is a lot more customization around it. The only issue is that there's a lot more manual work that has to be done to handle the file upload itself. So I know you mentioned making this file upload work without forking it, but unless it's an absolute requirement to not fork it, I would recommend just forking it and then asking AI to make it an icon button and not include the file list, because I think it should be able to do it pretty easily. Because otherwise you could use this deprecated one that we have, but yeah, it would require a lot more work to handle the file uploads. Setting a static height was what I tried, but there was still something left that would move the icon up when you select the file, right? Yeah. We can potentially still use this deprecated one. It depends what you want to upload. So the only thing you'd potentially need to do when you upload it, so I've uploaded a file here, is that in a workflow, what you probably need to do is, I don't know if you're using like Xan or Supabase or one of those backends, but you would need to, sorry, not return a value. You would need to do something like encoding the file, probably as a data URL, and then you can bind the file object here to this value. And this will give you back. No, it won't. Why didn't it give me that back? Why did it fail? Huh. Maybe because we've deprecated this, isn't working anymore? Okay, so I think we may have to okay, there we go. That was my bad. It's because I was passing in an array instead of an object. And then if we have that, we should have access to this. Yeah. So potentially what you could do, I'm trying to recreate a profile file upload experience like Facebook where there's a camera to upload back into Supabase. Okay, cool. So what you could do then, basically the nice thing about this file upload element is that it has some things out of the box. So it exposes base64 and binary. For your use case, you probably want base64, which all that really means is that out of the box, it will give you a URL like this, which you can send to your backend and then handle that file. But you can do this with this old deprecated file upload. You just need to handle that conversion yourself. So like I've done here, you could use this simple file upload. And so I could just have something like a we can't drag things inside of this, but there is a workaround, because on the button, I can add a icon, and it uses the old icon, unfortunately. Huh. Okay, that's a nuisance. Basically, I don't know how long you've been using WeWeb for, but we introduced a new icon system. And because this is deprecated and it hasn't been updated, it uses the old icon system. So if you don't already have icons in your project, I wouldn't recommend doing it this way, just because it would be quite a burden to upload the icons. So yeah, unfortunately, long story short, I still think your best bet would be just forking this file upload and asking AI to make the changes you need. Yes, they will eventually. Well, actually, I don't know. I can't speak on that too much, because they do have some use cases like this. For example, you can't change the button, or rather, you can't add icons to the button, but you could still go about doing it manually by. I think we have it. Here we go. You can still add font icons, so they're there to obviously still make it possible to work with old projects. But if you wanted to, you could still go about doing this. So you could upload font icons and then use this old one. But will they go away eventually? I don't know. It's not. It'd be one for our CPO to speak on. I don't know just yet. But yeah, I'd recommend forking this file upload and then just asking AI to make it an icon button with no file list. I think that would be the easiest approach. Sorry, I just realized there is another deprecated element. I thought we had this, but for some reason it didn't appear before. So when you type in the file in the deprecated elements, there is this advanced one. And the reason it's called advanced is because you can drop custom elements inside of it. So if I get rid of these other ones in this zone, I can drop things inside of. So I could take an icon, I can pop it inside of here. And then I guess this zone has, or something has some kind of fixed width. No, okay, well, I'll just, I'll give it a customized one. So I'll say like 30, 30. Make this a bit bigger. And it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but you hopefully get the gist. So that on this input file drop element, it comes with this default workflow, but I'm just going to get rid of it and do it myself. So on change, and you would do a similar kind of thing. So encode file is base64, the file object, I'll just upload one. So I've got something there. Did that fail? I got an error in the logs, but I don't know if it actually did fail. Let me check. Okay, that's why it failed. Cool. So then in here, I can use this first object here. So I can encode the file as base64, set it to use a data URL, and that will work. And so now, like before, I have this data URL that I can use. So you could use this advanced file upload that's in the deprecated elements here. So you could drag this advanced one onto the page. In there, you can drop in whatever you want. So like an icon, for example. And then whenever you click what's in this drop zone, you can't see because I'm just showing my tab, but whenever you click it, it shows you the finder to choose what file you want to upload. And then you could have some kind of workflow set up on the input file drop element itself, where on change, you encode whatever file has been passed in using this input file drop value variable. And when you encode it, it will give you back a URL like this that you could give to Supabase to handle the file upload. No worries. I used the encode action to turn it into a data URL, but there's two ways you can upload files to backends. You could do it that way where you pass a data URL. And there's also called something where you basically define the type of the content you're sending as a multi-part form. But the docs that I'm not sure what you're using as a reference, but the docs that we have all use the data URL method. So if you haven't tried it too much, I'd recommend just going with the data URL method and maybe experimenting with the multi-part form way. If, I don't know, you feel like experimenting. Basically, the multi-part form lets you pass that entire file object without having to convert it as a data URL. But we have more docs on using data URLs, so it just depends how best you want to go about it. I'm not sure if you're still there, John, but the issue you are having with the icons, I've just found a fix for. Cool, right, we are pretty much at the hour, and I think it's pretty quiet tonight, so I will end it here. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for joining us. Joining me this week. Hopefully Flo can be with me next week. We are here every Tuesday, 6 to 7 p.m. Central European time. And yes, thank you so much, everyone. I shall see you next week.